It's Saturday about it, and you'll see behind me a very messy counter. I'm in the process of cleaning, and I'm on a big throwing away spree today. I made a little tiny small video about the fact that my house smelled like an autopsy this morning. And normally my house smells like candles and wax and pretty things. It didn't this morning. It smelled like who done it. So 4 garbage bags of spoiled food later, it smells good again. I've got so much to do. I have still got Christmas decor up. But I got me a Rubbermaid at the Big Lots last week, and I still have to go to the Piggly Wiggly, so I'm going to try to get everything packed up and see if I'm going to need another Rubbermaid. And if I do, I think I'm just going to try to put the Christmas tree back in the box that came in. We'll see how that works. So I got a lot of stuff today. First of all, y'all know that I do like to overshare a little bit on the Facebook, but when I think about all the stuff that I overshare, why do my glasses stay filthy, children? I cannot, for the life of me, keep a pair of glasses clean. I can't know about it. I overshare in the sense that I take pictures of everything, posts that I like. But as far as, things that I'm thankful for, things that make me happy, yada, yada, yada. But as far as like personal business, even when I make these videos, I'm very vague. I just don't post a lot of personal business. And I think some things I assume that people are already going to know. Now, for those of you who may be in the dark, the lady that I'm seeing lives 2,000 miles away from me. Okay? We have been talking for a year, and it's one of those situations where there's just no possible way for her to come here. She's got a very large family, a very large, beautiful, wonderful family that she can't leave, nor would I ever ask her to. It's just one of those kind of families, they do every single thing together. You know what I mean? That dynamic, which I love. I'm all about that. Anybody who knows me will tell you I'm all about that. My family, I do have a big family, and when we were younger, we were very close. We would hang out, and our parents would take us, and we would hang out with all the cousins and play, and it was great, and I loved it. But what has happened as we've all gotten older, everybody's just kind of scattered, and everybody does their own thing now. So, and we've even made the comment that we don't really even see each other anymore until somebody dies, until there's a funeral or somebody dies. So, so it's easier for me to pack up and move to her. Now, if my mother were still alive, I don't know. I don't know that I could have left her. Who is it? Capital One. We need to speak to Faye Greer, please. And you know what? The Capital One people, they are like, they're the phone equivalent to Jehovah's Witnesses. It doesn't matter how many times you tell them, my name is not Faye Greer, they're going to continue to call back. And also Pikeville Medical Center, which, you would think someone that clearly goes to the doctor as much as this woman does, you would think they would have a right phone number. But anywho, I digress. Yeah, if Mom was still alive, I don't know. I really don't know that I could have left her. I moved 2.5 hours away from home, and that like to kill me when I did that. So to move 2,000 miles away from her, I really don't. I don't know that I could have. In a sense, and this is going to sound bad, and I don't mean for it to, but in a sense, I'm kind of glad that that's not a decision that I have to make. So, my father, I still have my father, who is awesome and great, and I don't think he's super excited about the thought of me leaving, but he does love me enough to want me to be happy. He knows I'm very independent. He knows that I'm pretty headstrong, and when I get something in my head, you know. But the thing is, I've lived here my whole life in this area. I mean, I was in Huntington for 12 years, but in terms of this area, I've been here my entire life. This is what I know. This is my life. It has been. And quite frankly, the plan was that it would be. It would continue to be. But, what is it John Lennon said? Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. So, this wonderful preacher entered my life a year ago and turned everything upside down in a good way. It's been a crazy year. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to sit here in front and say that it's been sunshine and roses and daisies every single day, because it hasn't. I think there's been times that, she and or I have both wanted to throw in the towel. But I think for for me, and I can't necessarily speak for her in a way, I kind of can, but um, I think something just clicked and sparked and made us realize that some things are just meant to be. And I have spent a lot of years, just wanting somebody who could reflect, my values, my thoughts, my feelings, my interests, um, and I found her. I found her, and and like I said, it's been a rocky road at times. We're in we're in a really great place right now, but I think anything in this life worthwhile, it's not going to come easy. If it did, then people would never get divorced. People would stay together for the rest of their lives. Um, they just would. I think sometimes people give up. You know, I think sometimes you have to give up. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to say that you should just stay and stay and stay and stay. I think sometimes if you put an honest effort into something, if it's not meant to be, no amount of trying is going to help that. But I think a lot of times people will take something good and they'll give up on it. And like I said, with she and I, we had the 2,000 mile um, geographical difference. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. But we got through it, and we're stronger as a result. And I guess maybe it's one of those deals where I just kind of assumed everybody knew that that's where I would be going. I thought I really do thought I had mentioned it, but apparently I did not. And I said that people were busting my balls. Nobody was really seriously doing it. They were just joking with me because y'all are bitches, and that's what you do is you joke with me, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm not mad at you. But yeah, that certainly is the plan. That certainly is the plan. I'm one of these type people that I've never been shy about taking chances or taking risks or um, doing things that well, if I don't do this, will I regret it? I've always been a do it. Life's too short. Just go. Just do it. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm not gonna miss here because this is what I know. But we will visit. There are plans to visit, and of course, my family is here, so I will come back if there's coffee and presents and candy. Did I say coffee? So there you go. You have that. I'll come back. If you don't, forget about it. Mm. So one of my friends had posted a video this morning, and I had reposted it. And it was of this broad who got pulled over for the speeding, and she decided that she was going to start yelling at the officer and tell him that she wasn't speeding And all he was doing, I mean, he handled it perfectly. You know, he asked for her license, registration, proof of insurance, and he repeatedly asked for it because every time he'd ask, she'd start yelling louder that she wasn't doing nothing, she wasn't speeding. So, I mean, he finally, God had the patience of Job. He finally told her, you know, if you don't provide this, you will be placed under arrest. And of course, she kept yelling. So he comes around to the driver's side, tries to get her out of the car because she will not come on her own. And as soon as he grabs her arm, she starts squalling and screaming. And at one point before that, she had made the comment about the fact that did he not have anything better to do than to pull black people over, and that she wasn't speeding. So the long and short of it is, this video goes on. She called her husband. Her husband shows up. It was a mess. I mean, then she took off. She took off from the police. They had to pursue her. It was a mess. And the whole time she's screaming at the top of her lungs, "I didn't do anything wrong." Okay, well, let's dissect this. You got pulled over for speeding. How do they know you were speeding? They probably had a radar gun. You know, cops don't. You know, they don't sit there with, you know, these telekinetic powers of, oh, that they were going 10 miles. No. If you get pulled over for speeding, they clocked you. And if you get pulled up, just give them the damn insurance. You know, had this woman done that, she'd probably just got a ticket and been on her way. But no. Here's the thing, okay? And there are many friends on my Facebook who have very opposing views than mine. And you know what? That's okay. I love them enough. I do. I love and respect them enough that we have to agree to disagree on this subject. Here's my thing, okay? And maybe it's because of what I do for a living. Maybe it's because I do work alongside law enforcement at times. Maybe it's because I have a different or a deeper understanding of what they do. But here's the thing. There's all of this volatility right now, okay? And all this angst and anger and hostility, you know, directed towards law enforcement. And I made a video about this a few weeks ago. It's real easy for somebody who doesn't have a loved one who is in law enforcement, or who doesn't have firsthand knowledge of what their job entails. It's real easy for those people to sit back and throw judgment and cast shade upon them. It's another matter entirely when you take a deeper, closer look. Now, am I saying that all cops are wonderful and that there are no asshole cops? Absolutely, I'm not saying that. I got in trouble one time. I'm going to tell you a little story. I got a speeding ticket one time. I was going to Paintsville years ago. Got me a speeding ticket. I put it in the glove box. Completely forgot about it. In the state of Kentucky, if you don't pay your speeding ticket after so long, they suspend your license. Yeah. And if you get pulled over with a suspended license, guess where you're going? You're going to the big house. So, I got pulled over one time. They said that I had ran a red light, which I would have sworn on everything sacred and holy that I did not run that red light. It was still yellow when I went through it. But the cop tells me, you ran it. Okay, fine, whatever. Well, honey, he done had me pulled over in front of the Blockbuster. He did, in front of the Blockbuster. And I give him, you know, my license, my registration, my insurance. He comes back, tells me to get out the car. Now I'm from Blockbuster. People I know are in the Blockbuster. And he's not very nice to me. Now, I don't know if you all know this or not, but I'm not black. I am Caucasian. Caucasian. And he was mean to me. I mean, he was a dick to me. He was a young guy, young cop. I don't know if it was one of those something to prove kind of businesses, or I don't know. He was very gruff with me. He was very rough in the manner in which he handled me. I wasn't resisting. I wasn't arguing. I wasn't, you know, I was terrified. I was terrified. I was mortified. I was humiliated right there. Right there in the middle of the road. Um, but I said all that to say this, okay? Cops will be mean to you. If they're mean cops, they're going to be mean to you whether you're white, blue, black, green, purple, or orange. They are. Um, had I gotten in this guy's face, had I refused to pull over, had I told him I didn't run no red light, it probably would have ended bad for me, real bad. Um, these people, these men and these women, have the responsibility of keeping the peace. They have the responsibility of enforcing the law. You don't like the laws? Go somewhere where they don't have them. You don't like the speed limit? Go somewhere where there is no speed limit. I don't know where that is, but I'm sure you can Google it. But here's the thing, they're out there trying to do their jobs. Are you going to be harassed at some point in your life by the police? You might be. I don't know. Are there areas that you're targeted just because you're black? I'm sure there are. I make no bones about that. I'm sure that there are. But here's the thing. If it's going to be perpetuated, and what I mean by that, people like this lady, oh, you're just pulling me over because I'm black, and raising hell and running. I mean, she almost closed his arm up in the window, like the one video that was out a few weeks ago where the cop got drugged. When people do stuff like that, they are perpetuating the stereotype. They are perpetuating the problem. They're not being part of the solution. They're only adding to the problem. Most cops, I'll put it to you this way, there are more good cops than there are, how should I say that? I'm confused. It's kind of like how people say, I don't want to fly because we'll crash and we'll die. You're safer in the air than you are on the ground. Does that make sense? Yeah, there's planes that crash, but comparatively speaking, the number of successful flights with a few little snafus is much safer than the accidents that occur in a car. Does that make sense? So yeah, there's some bad cops, but the number of them compared to the number of criminals is it's night and day. It's night and day. And the thing of it is, you know, a lot of these videos that you see, these people that have been shot, like I've said to you before, they're not sitting there selling Bibles on the street corner, honey. They're not sitting there praying to Jesus and knitting sweaters. They're not. They're out breaking the law. They're robbing stores. They're doing things. They're resisting. You know, if an officer tells you to stop, stop. Just stop. I don't give a shit what color you are. Because like I said, these guys are not here to be punching bags, and these guys are not here to be targets for violence and target practice and everything else. You know, these are the guys who you call when your ass is in a sling. These are the guys that you want coming to you when the shit's going down. Everybody will sit here and talk about, oh, fuck the police. But who do you want when the shit hits the fan? Where the police at? So show them some frickin' respect. That's point blank, period. You don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to dip into both wells. And the thing of it is, if you abide by the law, you have no problems. Doesn't mean you're not going to get hassled. It doesn't matter. But if you haven't done anything wrong and you do as you're told, I promise you, you're going to have a favorable outcome. Now, you want to get up in their face and you want to fight and you want to be aggressive, I promise you, faithfully, it's not going to end good for you. But that's the problem. These people want to be aggressive, and you know, these guys are trained. You get aggressive with them, guess what? They're pushing back, and they're going to win. But then people want to sit back and cry foul and be like, oh, but these cops are assholes. Well, no, maybe you were an asshole that instigated it. So, and like I said, I know that there are people that are going to vastly disagree with that. And you know what? That is your right. That's your right. But it's one of those things that we're going to have to agree to disagree. That's just the bottom line. So there that is. Seemed like I was going to tell y'all something else. Seemed like I had seen something in. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I talked about the Christmas decorations. I talked about the police. I talked about going to the Piggly Wiggly. Oh yeah, the moving. I think I covered it all. So there it is. Well, I'm going to finish straightening and cleaning this house so that I can go to the Piggly Wiggly and I can come home and put my groceries away and relax. I think Kentucky's playing right now, but I've got too much stuff to do to even mess with it. So it's cold, it's snowy, it's blah. But oh, one more thing. Yeah, this is what I was gonna talk about. And I hope this don't cut me off because I'm 21 minutes in. Drugs. Drugs are such. I don't even need to give it an intro. All I'm gonna say is this: if you know somebody who is struggling or in the grips of an addiction, I don't give a shit what you have to do to stop them, help them, slap them, wake them up. I don't care what you have to do, but do something. Because if you don't, you're going to bury them. I promise. I promise. Or you're going to go visit them in jail. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. Sometimes loving somebody and sometimes caring about somebody means being a royal bitch to them. And it's not, you're not doing it because you're hateful, you're not doing it because you're mean. You're doing it because you don't want to see them die. You're doing it because you don't want to go to their funeral. And sometimes people need to be slapped right in their face for them to see it. If it makes you an asshole, you're an asshole. So I may touch back more on that at a later date, but I'm so afraid this won't cut me off that I'm going to stop for now. And you all behave, and I'll come back later. And if I don't come back later, then I'll see you on Tuesday.